Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here today with a Fallout 4 news update / discussion video. And today, for the viewers who have been watching my channel for many years, I hope you're ready for quite a throwback, because we are going to be looking at the quote leaked memo end quote from 2014, which potentially confirms Nuka World. Now, the reason I'm reporting on this information is because I've seen a lot of YouTubers saying that this information is confirmed info and have led fans on. So for me, I have to step into this and throw some real information in your guys' faces and let you know that, hey, while this is exciting, this is likely fake. Anyway, the information has potential. I just ask that you remain skeptical until there is a official confirmation. It's reasonable to be excited because when I was reading this, I was like, oh my goodness, but still, just be careful. Also, do me a favor, share this video because it is jam-packed with information that will intrigue both ES and Fallout fans. Anyway, this is the leaked memo from 2014. We all assumed that this was fake due to the mention of too many big names at once, such as an Elder Scrolls 6 and a Fallout 4. Like, absolutely no way that can happen. Plus the hilarity of a name such as Nuka World, which is mentioned on here, which now isn't actually that far-fetched thanks to the information that players discovered within Fallout 4's very own files. So it's quite interesting that something with such a ridiculous name actually was 100% accurate and on the nose with something coming to Fallout 4. Could it be a spin-off? Is it bigger than DLC? Who actually knows? But the first thing I wanted to point out about this memo that really made me raise an eyebrow was the quote, Mr. Hines on there. The office is full of people who at a minimum have worked there for at least 10 years, a decade. Why not just call him Pete? He tells people he hasn't even met on Twitter to call him Pete. Why would people in the office call him Mr. Hines? That to me is just ridiculous from a personal standpoint. From what I've seen of Pete, from what I know of Pete, from what I know of Bethesda Game Studios and how their office runs, this just doesn't seem right calling him Mr. Hines, okay? But regardless, the convenience of a Nuka World being mentioned in a hoax is entirely possible, but also seems just too coincidental to have that mentioned so many years ago. But it would also contradict what Bethesda said, where they had no idea what their DLC was before launch. This was a year before the game even came out, and they were talking about DLC potentially if this memo is to actually be believed. It would silly to say that this is confirmed on a hunch like so many other YouTubers have. I'm sorry, but after the Survivor 2299, I always have my guard up. Now, with that said, according to SteamDB, Bethesda is currently testing 2 brand new pieces of DLC. What they are, we have no idea, but it's very clear that something is in the works, and thanks to Hey, I'm Star-Lord for that bit of info there. My other piece of evidence which both supports and debunks this memo here is Todd Howard's comments during an interview at DICE earlier this year. He mentioned how the team is working on 3 big projects, one of which is a brand new IP. Later on, he ended up clarifying his comments, saying that putting a number on it was a silly idea because you can just add them up a number of ways, big or small. The small is likely the rumored Wasteland Workshop 2 and 3 DLC that we found in the files for Fallout 4, and the big could possibly be a Nuka World and a Elder Scrolls 6. Now, on this memo, we saw multiple things that may have made us scratch our heads, such as a Boston project, a Project Greenheart. What exactly are those? Let's clarify the Boston project bit of the memo first. People assume this was Fallout 4's codename, and reasonably so, given Fallout 4's setting, but actually, I have access to the initial casting documents for Fallout 4 itself, which you guys can see on screen now, so big thanks to Brian T. Delaney for that. As stated, the codename for Fallout 4 before its announcement was none other than Institute, which makes sense. So this debunks the memo as legit if we are to actually believe it, but also supports that Boston Project could be referring to something else, but that seems really unlikely given where Fallout 4 is taking place. So since the projects can be counted up any other way, is it safe to say that Todd was referring to a Nuka World ES6 and the new IP? That's always possible. He could also be including whatever Bethesda Game Studios Montreal is working on, which we have absolutely no idea about. Now, what about this Project Greenheart? Well, much like Boston Project, the name is right there. The information is right in the name. So Greenheart is a city in Valenwood, which can be found in both Elder Scrolls Online and Elder Scrolls Arena, meaning that likely that the Elder Scrolls 6 game could actually be set in Valenwood if, once again, this is to be believed, which I really am leaning away from. I'm not not really believing this because I think it's almost too coincidental. I think it's too obvious, and I also think the Mr. Hind things just sticks out like a sore thumb. Here's the interesting bit here. There was a little bit of a leak on Bethesda's Elder Scrolls Facebook account. According to this tweet out here, the Elder Scrolls Facebook page changed profile pictures. Now that sounds ridiculous to say as some type of piece of information, but it's referring to an Elder Council. And mind you that this is something established in the Elder Scrolls universe, but what it's usually used as promotional material for their fan page. So when fans come in there, they're engaging with this brand new Elder Scrolls content. So far, when it comes to the ES universe in the terms of games, we don't have something called a Elder Council, which I find quite interesting. Now, the tweet claimed that it has changed, but I verified and went to the Facebook page itself and checked and did see that this is in fact still there. It may have been a bit of a slip up, but the reason I'm pointing this out is because this could be possibly just another Elder Scrolls Online expansion to be announced at E3, but to me, that would personally be surprising given the fact that the Dark Brotherhood expansion comes out during the week of E3 on June 14th. Which I find a little shocking personally. And so I thought to myself, there's no way they're going to announce something new in ESO when something is dropping during that week. I've said that in order for Elder Scrolls Legends, the digital card game set in the ES universe, to gain traction, it's going to need an exciting announcement alongside it, and this, ladies and gentlemen, could be it. We don't know what Elder Council is. I looked up Elder Council on the Elder Scrolls wiki just to double check my information and knowledge, and basically it sounds like a game that could possibly be like a Tropico or a Civilization if I was to take the definition for what exactly Elder Council is and then put that in game terms, because according to the definition of the duties of the Elder Council, their task is to keep the Empire running. Their responsibilities consist of the day-to-day management of the Empire itself, such as administration and overseeing provinces, advising the Emperor, and the creation of laws. So what I could see here is a game where you're the Emperor and you're tasked with keeping the Empire itself running, which I think would actually be a pretty cool idea. This is all the information I have here. At the end of this video, if you want my honest opinion on what you should do with this information, I'd say don't believe it, because this is not confirmed information. This is a dead and buried memo from many years ago when Fallout 4 was just a mere rumor and people were trying on a weekly basis to trick the community, and I'm quite shocked that this actually resurfaced. Don't get me wrong though, I am a little bit excited because of the fact that Nuka World was mentioned there, because that is such a specific name, that is such a ridiculous name too, and now that it's in the game files and we see it mentioned here, it is a little shocking. It could be entirely coincidental, but to me it's just like, I find that hard to believe at times. If you're sitting in the middle of this, kind of like, we'll just see how the cards fall, I don't blame you. That's kind of where I'm sitting, but for me, if I had to pick one side or the other, I'm leaning away from this information because it just seems way too coincidental. There's too many holes in it, like the Mr. Hinds, and then Project Greenheart, and then Boston Project, which wasn't even the code name for Fallout 4. At the end of this all, I just want to give you guys your healthy dose of information, your honest, true information here, and let you guys know what's actually going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed and appreciated this information. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below, so please be sure to sound off. I wanted to thank you guys big time for discussing with me on Twitter. This is how I get a lot of my thoughts out, is when I find this information, I let you guys know about it immediately on Twitter, and we get a little discussion going, and then I will handle the rest here in this YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for helping me out. I really do appreciate it. Love you guys a bunch. If you want to interact with me more on Twitter or on Facebook, the links will be in the description as always. Other than that, check out sugarbomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.